Welcome, everyone. My name is Anila Harris, and I'm the Senior Advisor Humanitarian Communications with World Vision. Currently, I'm based in India. Thank you all for joining this live broadcast. We have supporters here from all around the world. If you need translation for today's event, please scan the QR code on your screens and select the language you prefer. It has only been 60 days since a deadly 7.7 magnitude earthquake struck central Myanmar, killing thousands of people. Today, we want to connect you with the teams on the ground, children and families impacted, learn how World Vision is responding, and next steps. When a disaster strikes, it causes catastrophic infrastructural damage. So while we connect to the field, please be patient given the internet and mobile services are impacted. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to share in the chat and we'll relay it to the team. Ready, everyone? Let's see if we can connect to our field teams from Mandalay. Hello, Phoebe, can you hear us?
Hi, Leela, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. That's great. Phoebe has been part of our response since the beginning. Thank you so much for joining us. Can you share a little bit about your role in the earthquake response?
Sure. Hello, everyone. Minglava. My name is Phoebe. I'm Advocacy and Communication Director, and currently I am overseeing the response communication team.
Where are you connecting from, Phoebe?
I'm currently in Tadau, Mandalay, the area where hardly affected by the earthquake.
All right. It has been 2 months since that Friday afternoon when the earthquake struck. Can you walk us through exactly what happened and where?
Sure, on March 28th, there was a big earthquake happened in Myanmar. Almost 4,000 people died and over 5,000 people injured. One of our area program is affected by the earthquake.
That's massive. Phoebe, if you feel comfortable, can you share a little bit about your experience on that day when the earthquake struck? What time was it and what were your initial thoughts and reactions?
Sure, I was not at the epicenter, but since it is 12:55 in the afternoon, I was having lunch with my team. While having lunch, I felt the shaking of the building and also the light bulb above me are swaying for a few seconds. We were stunned that we forgot to run out of the building. I didn't realize the Mandalay was hardly hit until we got the phone lines back and saw on the news. My team and I were deployed to the affected area to assess the situation. Even after the earthquake, the people in that area are fear of the aftershocks which occur every day. So let me show you my experience, my first experience after the earthquake. Down.
Stage where the three-story building was collapsed, killing more than 2 people and more than 3 injured. There can be more people under the collapsed building as only the villagers have to rescue the people trapped. As I passed in front of the collapsed building, I got the smell of the decayed body from the piled up rubble. There I met a girl aged around 22. She never experienced such kind of scary event during her lifetime. However, what happened to her was the ground in front of her suddenly came higher and he has no idea what was it. And then the ground went flat again like waves. The small house was shaking and she jumped out to the ground. Suddenly she remembered her younger brother and went back to rescue him. Her home buried half in the sand as her home was built beside the river. The soil behind her house was like tear apart and become the Big Valley. It was a great loss for that community.
From what we can scary. I'm glad that you and our staff are safe. Can you tell us about the impact on the affected communities and children, Phoebe?
Sure. Fearing of the earthquake, people lining up beside the roadside in front of their home, some in the open space looking for the place to sleep at night. But sleeping outside at night makes them unsafe. There's an increased violence and exploitation, especially for children.
It must have been really terrifying for the children, right, Phoebe?
Sure, they are very, very scared of the aftershocks, and the children talk to me. They share about how scared they are of the aftershocks.
So, are you still experiencing some of the aftershocks right now?
Yeah, there are several earthquakes happen even until now. Few days ago, there were another earthquake of 5.7 magnitude happened in Mandalay again. So children are having a nightmare when they sleep at night. So let's hear from two girls how about their experience of the earthquake.
လဲကျသွားပြီးချိုးစမ်းတဲ့အင်ဂျီထိနဲ့လက်ရသွားတယ်ကြောက်လုံးနဲ့ဘာမှမပြောနိုင်တယ်ဘူး။အိမ်ကအိမ်ကလည်းဇိုင်းသွားလို့ခါလေလေလို့မရတယ်။အိမ်ကအိမ်ကဖြစ်ကြတယ်။အခုလည်းကြောက်နေတယ်ပေါ့လေးတဲ့ပုံမိုးဆွေးနေပါတယ်။ဒီတော့အခါတောင်းနေတော့ပစ္စည်းလိုရနေပါတယ်။
As you saw, life has been drastically changed for many in the affected areas, especially women and girls. They do not have private spaces. Being a woman, I understand these needs. Some of the losses cannot be seen, but they are psychological in despair.
Yeah, another challenge is that their livelihood has been disrupted. So let's watch the video about how the earthquake impacted the lives of a 6-year-old Elinga and her family livelihoods.
"ဖွားတို့ဒီငရင်လှုပ်ပြီးတော့လေအိမ်ထဲကိုမအိပ်ရဲဘူးကြောက်တာပေါ့ကွယ်ကြောက်တော့ကြတော့အိမ်ရှိကိုထွက်အိပ်ကြတာတို့ဒီအိမ်အမြင့်နေဆိုလဲအပေါ်တက်မအိပ်ရဲတော့ပဲနဲ့အောက်မှာပြေးပေါက်လွယ်အောင်အိပ်ကြတာမျိုးလေးတွေရှိတာပေါ့ခဏခဏတွေလှုပ်နေတော့ကြောက်တာပေါ့ဟဲ့ခုလောလောဆယ်အခက်ခဲရတော့ရေအခက်ခဲလေးတွေတို့စာဝတ်နေရေးဗတ်စုံပေါ့တရားကြိုးကြလမ်းနေပျက်စီးကြဆိုတော့စာဝတ်နေရေးလေးတွေခက်ခဲတာပေါ့ဟဲ့ရေခက်ခဲဖြစ်လာတဲ့ခါကျရင်လေဝမ်းပြက်ဝမ်းလျှောလေးတွေဖြစ်လာမှာတို့ကလေးလေးတွေလေမတန့်တဲ့ရေတောက်မိတဲ့ခါဝမ်းလျှောမှလေးတွေတော့စိုးရိမ်နေပေါ့ကွာ
အင်ဂျာထဲမှာစောင့်နေတာပါငယ်လောက်တော့ဥဒတိုင်းတွေကလိုင်းတွန်းလုံးမျိုးဖြစ်လာအဲ့ဒါတကားပေါက်လေးကိုကိုင်းပြီးတော့လောက်လာအရှိရောက်တော့ဥဒတိုင်းပြီးသွားတာ
စိုးရင်စရာအကောင်းဆုံးအခက်ခဲရတော့ငရင်လှုပ်လိုက်လို့ရှင်လှုပ်လိုက်တော့အဆောက်အဦတွေပြိုကြတရားတွေပြိုကြဆိုတော့ကျမတို့ကဈေးတယ်တွေလေဈေးတယ်တွေဆိုတော့လမ်းကြောတွေပြတ်တောက်ပြီးတော့ဈေးရောင်းဈေးမရောင်းရတော့မှတော့စိုးရင်ပါလေ
Okay, joining me here, Elinga and her grandmother A. Anila, would you like to ask them some questions?
Thank you, Phoebe. First of all, we are deeply sorry for everything that your family has gone through. But we are really grateful that you're safe and you're able to join us today.
Okay. ပထမဆုံးအနေနဲ့ပေါ့နော်ဒီငယ်လင်းတန်းကြောင့်ခံစားနေရတဲ့အတွက်တဲ့အရန်ကိုစိတ်မကောင်းဖြစ်နေပါတယ်ပေါ့နော်ဒါပေမဲ့အခုချိန်မှာကျမတို့နဲ့အခုလိုလာပြီးတော့ဘေးကင်းကင်းနဲ့ကျမ်းမာနဲ့ရောက်လာပြီးတဲ့အတွက်လည်းကျေးဇူးတင်ပါတယ်တဲ့နော်
You shared that most urgent challenge was being able to earn a living. How is access to the market now? And could you share a little bit about how things are going?
ခုနဗီဒီယိုထဲမှာပေါ့နော်အဲစာဝတ်နေရေးအတွက်ငွေရှားတာအခက်အခဲတွေဖြစ်တယ်လို့ပြောတယ်ပေါ့နော်ဆိုတော့အခုအချိန်မှာပြန်ကောင်းလာပြီလားအခြေအနေဘယ်လိုရှိလဲဈေးပြန်ရောင်းလို့ရနေပြီလားပေါ့နော်
ဖြစ်ပြီးငင်းလှုပ်ပြီးဖြစ်ပြီးစားနှစ်ပတ်လောက်ကတော့လမ်းနေပြက်လို့ဈေးရောက်သွားလို့မရခဲ့ပါဘူးဈေးရောက်သွားလို့မရခဲ့ပါဘူးအခုတော့ဈေးပြန်ရောက်လို့ရနေပါပြီဒါပေမဲ့မြေကူးတရာကျို့ထားတော့အရင်ထက်3စားလောက်ဝေးတဲ့လမ်းကနေသွားတော့ခက်ခဲတာပေါ့ကျန်းတန်းတာပေါ့ဆရာမရဲ့ပောက်တယ်တွေလည်းငရင်တန်းခံစားရတော့လေဈေးရောက်လို့မကောင်းဘူးအရင်တော့ပေါ့
Okay, so let me translate. Within 2 weeks after the earthquake, I cannot access to the market where I do my business of selling snacks. But now I can restart my business. But due to the earthquake, the road and the bridge were damaged. So I have to use another route to reach to the market. So it is like 3 times farther than the original route. And my regular customers are also affected by the earthquake, so they could not spend even like before. So my business is also not running well.
Traveling that long route must be very stressful, but we are glad that you have at least access to the market. You did mention that there was lack of clean water and food. Can you tell us the current situation about access to these basic needs?
ခုနလည်းပြောတာပေါ့နော်ရေနဲ့အစားအစာတွေအတွက်လည်းခက်ခဲဖြစ်တယ်ဆိုပြီးဗီဒီယိုထဲမှာပြောထားတယ်ဆိုတော့အခုကောဒီအခြေခံစားတောက်ကုန်လေးနဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့ဗာအခက်ခဲတွေရှိလဲမိသားစုတွေဗာတွေနေတူတူကကြုံလာနေတယ်ပေါ့နော်
။အားရကတော့ခက်ခဲနေတော့မှာပဲ။ဒီကတော့လူတဲ့လူမလာလို့ရှိရင်လေဟောပြီးရှင်းရလူတဲ့ဒီတန်စီရုပ်လေးတွေနဲ့ဆန့်ပြီးတော့တောက်ပါရဲ့။စားတောက်တွေကဈေးတက်တော့အခက်ခဲတွေ
ရှိတယ်နော် Okay, access to clean water is still an issue for the family. So if they don't get the drinking water from the donors, they use water purification sachet to get clean water. As food price has increased, their family also face this difficulty for food.
So many challenges that you're overcoming. It's unbearable to see. But we are glad that you have access to clean water in the form of sachets. We know that Alinga was also injured. Can you tell us a little bit about her recovery?
ခုနအလင်ကဒဏ်ရာရသွားတယ်ဆိုတာကိုလည်းသိရတယ်ပေါ့နော်အခုသူခြေတော့ပြန်ကောင်းသွားပြီလားဆိုတော့တစ်ချက်လေးပြောပြပါအောင်တဲ့
အလင်းကအုတ်တိုင်းပြီးလို့ခြေရောက်ကျိုးသွားပါတယ်အခုတော့ကြောက်ပတ်တီးလွတ်သွားလို့ဒဏ်ရာတိတိလေးကျန်းနေပြီးတော့လေဆေးရုံပြရပါတယ်
Alinga leg was broken because the fence fell on his leg and broke it. But now the cast plaster has been removed, but there was a small wound still. That's why they have to go to the hospital for a follow-up visit.
We're glad to see that Alinga is recovering. It's really nice to see that. May I ask Alinga a little question?
Alinga နေပြန်ကောင်းလာတဲ့အတွက်ကျေးဇူးတင်တယ် Alinga ကိုသမီးကိုနားလဲမေးချင်တယ်တဲ့နော်ဟုတ်လားနော်ဟုတ်ကဲ့
Hi Alinga.
Hi mama လို့ပြန်နှုတ်ဆက်
Hi.
You're so brave and strong through all of this. We would like to know what is the first thing that you would do when you recover?
သမီးခုနအရန်ချစ်ဖို့ကောင်းတယ်တဲ့မမပြောတယ်ပေါ့နော်ပြီးတဲ့ခါကျလို့ရှိရင်အရန်လဲတတိရှိတယ်ဆိုတာကိုတွေ့ရတယ်ဆိုသမီးခြေတော့ပြန်ကောင်းရင်ဘာလုပ်ချင်လဲ
ငါချင်းနေနဲ့ပြေးစောခြင်းနဲ့အိမ်မှာရုပ်တွေနဲ့စောခြင်းနဲ့
Okay, I want to run and play with my friends and also I want to play with the toys at home.
Running and playing with friends sounds like fun. What is your dream for the future?
ဆိုတော့သမီးကြီးလိုက်ဘာလုပ်ချင်လဲ
ဒီကျင်းလာလို့ခြင်းနဲ့မေတော့ဖာဖာတော့အိမ်မှာသူကစောက်ပြီးခြင်း
ကောင်းလိုက်တာ Okay, I want to be an engineer. I want to build a new home for my parents and my grandparents which cannot be collapsed easily.
Whoa, that's such a noble thought. All the best, and we are cheering you on. I and Alinga, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your story with us.
အားလုံးကျေးဇူးတင်တယ်နော်အခုလိုဒီနေ့လာပြီးတော့ပြောပြပေးတဲ့အတွက်ကျေးဇူးတင်ပါတယ်တဲ့အလင်ကဲတက်တာလေးပြလိုက်ပါဦးတက်တာရဲ့
Bye. Thanks,
Bye.
Phoebe, for that. Can we now talk a little bit about sponsored children for the moment? Is Alinga sponsored?
Yes, Elinga is a sponsored child.
A few weeks before the earthquake, we held a live experience, virtual experience. Supporters met two children in the fields and their families from Thailand area. Any updates from them?
Yes, we did reach to Moon and Sign family. They live south to the epicenter. They are safe. They did feel the earthquake, but they do not experience any damage.
That's wonderful news. What about sponsorship in Tadau, one of the affected areas by the earthquake?
Well, World Vision Myanmar has been implementing sponsorship program in the Tadau township. In fact, in Mandalay, even before the earthquake. And we are in Myanmar implementing this development program for over 30 years. Because our sponsorship staff are already there in the affected communities, we could begin our humanitarian effort immediately. Our presence in the community enabled us to check in all the sponsored children and their families. We have provided support to over 3,200 registered children in our area program.
We saw Alinga was injured by the wall that fell on her by the earthquake. What about the other children in the community, Phoebe?
13 children sustained injury and are receiving an emergency care, medical care. But all of them are now recovered. Hundreds of houses were either partially or totally damaged in Tadau. So this family will need support to rebuild their home.
Yes, that's really critical. We also heard I mention that there were challenges to basic needs, like, for example, household needs like food. What is the impact of earthquake on access to food in the country?
Actually, food security and malnutrition are a growing concern in Myanmar, especially among children. If you have time, I would like to share one more story about how a family who are struggling to get nutritious food after the earthquake.
Sure.
This is လုပ်ငန်းနဲ့ပတ်သက်ပြီးတော့ဝါးတွေဘာတွေကလည်းတိတ်ဟိုလိုပေါ့တေမပေးကြတော့ဘူးဒီငလင်တန်ကြောင့်လေအဝတ်တွေဘာတွေကလည်းတိတ်မအပ်တော့ဘူးအားကြောင့်လုပ်ငန်းတွေလည်းအခက်ခဲဖြစ်တာပေါ့ကျမတို့မြန်မာနိုင်ငံမှာဖွဲ့ဖွဲ့ရရဟင်းရှိတယ်ဒါပေမဲ့အခုရက်တွေငလင်လှုပ်ပြီးတဲ့နောက်ပိုင်းလုပ်ငန်းတွေလည်းအဆင်မပြေတော့ဟင်းနဲ့တောင်သမင်းမစားပါဘူးအသားဟင်းတွေဘာတွေနဲ့စားဖို့နေတာကြက်ဥကြော်နဲ့တောင်မှဒီရက်ပိုင်းတွင်ပုံမှန်မစားနိုင်ဘူးပေါ့နော်ကျမတို့အခက်ခဲဆုံးအချိန်တွေကတော့ကလေးကိုအဲ့လိုသားငါဟင်းချက်ကျွေးကြည့်မိမဲ့မေးတယောက်နေနဲ့ချက်မကျွေးနိုင်တော့စိတ်မကောင်းဖြစ်ရတယ်ဝဲချမ်းမို့အဲ့လိုလက်ထဲမှာတော့ငွေမရှိတဲ့အခါဒီငလင်းနံညောင်းပြိုသွားတဲ့အိမ်လေးတောင်မှဒီအိမ်သားနီးချင်းတွေကပြန်မတ်ပေးမယ်လို့ပြောတာတောင်မှကို့မှာလက်ဖေးမတိုက်နိုင်တော့မပြင်အောင်မပြင်နိုင်ဘူး
Clearly, the needs are immense. Now, let's talk more about how World Vision is responding to those needs.
Yes, what gave us hope was the fact that we were, even before the earthquake, we are already present in Mandalay. We are one of the organization on the ground working closely with local communities and and the local partners. So when a disaster hit, we were able to conduct a rapid need assessment to map out the urgent needs for the affected communities. As I mentioned before, sponsorship really matters in emergency.
So it sounds like because of the programs in place, World Vision has established relationships in the community. Is that right, Phoebe?
Of course, yes. Those relationships make us easier to coordinate and also respond effectively. Sponsoring a child is the first line of defense when a disaster strikes. For every child that is sponsored, there are 4 more children benefiting. This can make a life-saving difference in an emergency.
Phoebe, thank you so much for sharing your experience with us and
Yeah.
connecting us to the people in the affected areas so that we could hear their
Thank you
challenges
too.
and needs firsthand. Thank you so much. Now let's turn to Dr. Zan, the Senior Operations and Response Director, World Vision Myanmar, to know more about our response. Dr. Zan, can you hear us? First of all, thank you so much for joining us. Where are you connecting from?
I'm connecting from Mandalay. Currently, I'm standing outside the church, and you can see that behind me are survivors still living in the tent, and some are staying in the under the plastic tarp. And religious buildings, including the monasteries, are being affected or damaged by the quake.
That's really sad to hear. What is the life saving assistance that World Vision is providing?
Over the past 2 months, we have reached over 227,000 people. That includes 103,000 children. And we are focusing on the water sanitation and a hygiene program, food and cash assistance program, child protection program, shelter program, and the livelihood recovery program.
Earlier, you had a chance to share an overview about the crisis and how World Vision is responding. So let's have a watch.
Children are going without food and clean water. Schools, hospitals are being affected. Families are living in the overcrowded and unsafe shelter. This is truly a crisis within a crisis. Even before this earthquake, World Vision was already in Mandalay. We've been working closely with local partners and communities to respond quickly. But there's still so much more to do. There are big challenges. Damaged roads and floodings are making it harder to get aid where it is needed most. And with the monsoon seasons just around the corner, the risk of disease outbreak like diarrhea, dengue, they are going to rise fast. And children are in serious danger. Without urgent support, critical aid won't reach the people or the family who needs them the most. Access to clean water, safe shelter, and medical care is absolutely vital now more than ever. Without it, women and children are at extreme risk, and people with disability face even greater danger. We are committed to staying here every step on the way, and we are helping families rebuild, providing food and cash assistance, clean water, and safe space for the children, and libraries where they can learn and play. And through our microfinance partner, Patient Fund, families are restarting over, building their businesses and finding new ways to earn income. Join us, help deliver life-saving aid. Let's make sure the world's most vulnerable children are not forgotten.
There's so much that we have achieved in the last 2 months, but clearly so much more to do. You did mention about the monsoons. What impact does those monsoons have on the survivors of the earthquake, Dr. Zan?
The monsoon season is a cause for concern, from flooding to the risk of waterborne diseases spreading, especially people living in this kind of temporary shelter. And also, if a timely repair of the rebuilding of the structure, if it is not done, completed before the raining season, it may damage the infrastructure further.
It seems so discouraging, but do you see anything that gives you hope, Dr. Zan?
Yes, of course. Despite all these challenges, we see the quiet strength of the people of Myanmar as they are supporting one another. And we also see neighbors are sharing the little that they do with another people, and especially those who are affected. We also see the local volunteers, even though they are being affected by this earthquake, they step up and then they join us to help the people who are most affected.
Dr. Zan, thank you so much for taking these few minutes to help us understand more about the situation in Myanmar. Your teams have been working tirelessly to provide the much needed relief assistance to earthquake affected communities. So, thank you once again.
My pleasure.
For everyone here, we hope this short visit has helped you understand the context better. It has given you a glimpse of the challenges of the families facing that have been affected by the earthquake. It takes a lot from them, but together, with your support and the support of the international community, we can help restore the hope in the lives of the people and their families. World Vision Myanmar aims to assist 500,000 people, including 172,000 children, in 6 months. We are committed to expanding our partnerships and mobilizing resources to help affected children and communities recover. More funding is crucial to reach the vulnerable populations and ensure a sustainable recovery. For those of you who have already stepped up to help the people of Myanmar, thank you so much. Hearing the stories today, you feel called to stand with Myanmar. You can scan the QR code on the screens or visit wvi.org/Myanmar to learn more about how you can support. We would like to thank Phoebe, Dr. Zan, and the entire World Vision Myanmar team for all the work that you've been doing to respond. And most importantly, thank you for joining us. By being here, you've shown your concern and support for those coping with the challenges caused by the earthquake. Thank you so much and goodbye.